Oh, she's here. Are y'all ready? We back. We back, y'all. She's excited.
Hi.
So, where have you been?
I have been in school.
Uh-huh.
I've been in school and I've been traveling and I've been in school. My whole life. Just is one big term paper. Yeah. My life is one big term paper.
You've been writing a lot of papers lately. You getting smart? Reading a lot of books?
I'm getting carpal tunnel.
To the glory of God. Look at all this dead space over here. You know what that tells me?
I could scoot all the way out the frame. Don't play no games. Don't play no games. I was in the middle of writing when you called me over and talking about it's 4:01. Father,
I'm just trying to get us back in the groove here.
Somebody asked for oh hey Angel. Somebody asked where's the puppet. Today that's me.
I said you got to show up for the family meeting.
Today I'm about as petty as they come.
I'm counting on it.
I am really trying in the name of Jesus.
What are you doing on your phone? There's nothing you got to see.
I was
on your
looking to
phone
make
right
sure
now.
that it was actually going out.
It is. I already checked it. I already checked it. Okay, y'all. So I'm going to try to get back on the horse here with doing some
we're going to do a couple family meetings because I have another class coming up on Thursdays.
Oh, you do?
Ta-da, surprise.
Summer school.
Summer school. You know, my eyes just feel like they're glossed over. You know, what are we talking about? People are going to be like, why are we just watching them argue? Y'all ain't seen us argue in a minute, though. So, hey, we back.
All right. So I got some things to react to. You don't know anything about this.
She don't, and I love a good surprise.
She hates surprises. So I got some things for her to react to, and we're going to see how this goes. This might work or we might bomb. Okay? You ready?
Guess who's back?
Who?
Back again.
What?
I know you didn't know that song.
Is that a song?
It is.
Okay. All right.
Krista's back.
Well, I'm just trying to wake her up, y'all. All right. Here we go. First one.
Okay, here we go. I am reacting to something.
Okay. So the first thing we've got, what?
Father, nothing. Go ahead.
What's so funny?
Nothing. Go.
Okay, I got to figure out how to do this because they changed all their settings on
Eminem, and it was Eminem. You know, I really used to like Eminem. Oh my gosh, and you know who I listened to last night on my drive home? It just randomly popped on the radio. Was Lauryn Hill. Now Lauryn Hill has, I mean, this ain't a cultural commentary, nor is this a commentary of like the mid to late 90s, but she did. I appreciated Lauryn Hill, but she kind of woo-woo. She went all the way over. I said, wow, Lauren. But yeah, she came on with the Fugees, and I was like, okay, y'all should have seen me jamming in my car to the Fugees. You ever heard the Fugees?
Is this an animal or a
father?
A food?
Father. Keep going, please.
All right.
Please keep going.
All right. So I gotta figure out. I don't know what they did here, but it's all different. Oh, there we are.
Okay, let's go.
All right, I'm trying to figure it out.
We ain't got run through time. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This ain't same practice.
Oh, okay.
My
there
gosh.
We go.
What I need is for the Lord to fix it at this big moment. We need to keep going.
Okay. There's your big face behind there.
Let's just keep going.
All right. I wish they wouldn't change stuff. All right. There we go. Okay, so this is a tweet. This tweet was all over Twitter this week. And so we're going to watch this little video. This is the governor of New York.
Michael?
No, her name is something. I forget. Hochul, I think. Kathy Hochul. And she was at some global conference. And
probably the WEF conglomerate.
Yeah, it's probably some spinoff. All right. So we're going to watch this video and then hear your response to it.
I wonder if that lady really know how to do
So now what we have is the money to.
Because she had a praise clap in the background. I was like,
I
don't know.
Be accessible to researchers in New York, college students.
I forgot to take out my AirPods.
We do not have time.
So we do not have time. I don't even know what we're doing.
Need you to get it right.
All right. I'm doing it. Okay, here we go. All right. Sorry, I'm out of practice.
So now what we have is the money to build a phenomenal supercomputer that is going to be accessible to researchers in New York, college students, will attract more federal grants. And this is how we lay down the mark. No state has done this. And in fact, I talked to a lot of other people who said, I wish my governor had thought of that first. I said, no, this is New York. We like to be first, with all due respect to people from other states. It's sort of our attitude. We will be the best. We will be the first. And I want others to follow, because right now we have, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader.
So black kids in the Bronx.
She's stupid. I'm sorry. Like this. First of all, I ain't even heard her half of what she said, because I'm really focusing on this lady doing sign language. Like, I don't know sign language, but I need like Kathy Lou on here, somebody who knows. Where is Gillian? Like somebody who knows sign language, because I think Gillian knows sign language. Maybe she doesn't.
I think you think of Elizabeth.
Yes, Elizabeth, not Gillian. Because. Okay, look, in the name of diversity, y'all can't act like they ain't put black people up there trying to be like sign language interpreters, and then the people come out and they be like,
Hold on. They can't see you. I got to figure out how to change the thing.
They've been throwing up black people in the name of diversity, and then people been like throwing up gang signs. They be like, hey, and it's like, but you ain't saying nothing. So I want to know, is she really really signing the signs? Because I don't know that world. Maybe that is world. Maybe this, because she was like the clack, clack, the clack, the clack, the clack. Like, I don't, it seemed like she was throwing a baseball signs. Like when my nephew be like playing and he'd be like in between for the catcher or the pitcher person. Could be me. I don't know. Really, hopefully she is really doing the signs.
Rakita said she real stupid. These kids know technology better than a lot of adults.
Here's my thing. So when you go to the hood, so even if they don't have a computer, everybody got one of these, okay? And this is really just a computer. So if you can't work a phone, if you can't work a computer, I'm sure you can't work a phone, but let's just be honest, like, we are in 2024.
My friend Dave Rodstad, who used to work for NASA, he said this phone is more powerful than the computers they used to like send people to the moon back in the day.
But I just think that if you think that black kids don't know the word computer, you're racist. Like, can we talk about, like, what is your real thought about black people? We want to say that if you don't do DEI, you're racist, and if you don't do all the no, honey, if you don't think that a black child can even know the word, like, let's
they don't really even know what computers are. Let's
have a conversation about your thoughts on black people overall. And so for that reason, it's real SEL. Thank you, Ellie. I appreciate it. I'm not saying that she couldn't have been a real SEL person, but don't act like ASL. Okay, ESL. Oh, ESL. That's something else. That's something else. Yeah. But y'all, I'm tired. But I'm not saying that she couldn't have been a real ASL person. I'm just saying that don't act like we haven't. Don't act like we ain't put up a person.
Maybe black people don't know what computers are, but they know ASL. So there's a lot of people on Twitter that were pretty kind of.
Hold on, wait, go back.
All right, they were making the same observation as you, that this is racist.
Poor kids are just as smart as white kids. White kids are poor kids. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a statement from Biden. That's a Biden quote.
I missed it. Jesus, fix it.
Poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
Fix it. But this is the thing. This is what I don't think people understand. It's like, as we so I grew up thinking that, like, The only people, especially living out here on the West Coast in California, a lot of like the service industry stuff is run by, or is the like the lower level stuff is either Hispanic or Black. But when you travel outside of California or outside of Southern California and you get into other states, it's white people out there sweeping the floors, white people mopping, white people making our bed at the hotel, like at McDonald's. You know what I mean? And so we, in the West Coast, in Southern California, you get this one type of way of viewing the world. And then it looks like, oh, well, all Black people are probably just in the service industry or Hispanics or, you know, in these lower level jobs. And that's not true. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Tanya says she's a racist, bigotry of low expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Black people don't, what is that? Black people don't know how to use the internet, so they can't apply for COVID.
That's another famous one from a few years ago. Or Black people don't know how to get a driver's license. You grew up in
I remember the Black people can't get a driver's license.
Did people in your neighborhood have driver's license?
Okay, so you know what? I ain't gonna lie. I drove for a long time without a license, but the Lord has sorted me out since. He sorted me. My mama taught me how to drive when I was like, 13.
I know.
Like,
but you weren't exactly totally legal.
Anybody asked you all that? Okay, let's keep moving.
But in the hood, people have driver's licenses.
See, in the hood, like we do all the regular things. It's just like I don't understand. And you might not be in the hood. Some people in the hood, like they just make poor monetary decisions with their available cash funds. And so
Black people can't get IDs.
You know what? This is about to be the Biden string. This is about to be quotes from Biden.
Okay.
Y'all can somebody gonna put in the comments just like RFFFTTC for when he be slurring his words. That's mean.
Tanya says we all have IDs.
We all have IDs. We all have IDs. We all have you know what? I'm just gonna act like that did not exist. Okay. But we need to be able to start calling people out on their racism and stop allowing a certain group of people to define what racism is.
Yeah,
it is racist. Her comment is racist, and it's a way in which she negatively views Black people, or she views us with this more in kind of like what's the word I'm looking for, infantile kind of way of thinking and you know, participating with us.
Okay, well, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I wanted to play this video.
You ain't Black unless you vote for me.
That's also going around this week on Twitter. It's kind of cool. This is on the other side of the conversation.
Introduced you to a pair of New Orleans students who made a mathematical discovery many considered impossible.
And this Sunday, they will be featured on 60 Minutes.
We start with just a regular right triangle where the angle in the corner is 90 degrees. Then we start creating similar but smaller right triangles, and then it continues for infinity. Am I going a little too?
You've been beyond me since the beginning.
This Sunday night at 6, they'll attempt to explain what they proved to CBS's Bill Whitaker.
So here's what happened here. These two girls from a very, I did a little research on the school that they go to. It's a predominantly Black girls' school. And they solved the Pythagorean theorem for the first time in 2,000 years.
Impossible.
It's pretty cool.
I call cap. I think it's cap. Yeah.
What?
Like BS.
Oh, you don't believe it's real?
They ain't got computers.
But they know how to form a lot of right angles.
How can they do that? They don't have computers. I don't understand. Make it make sense.
I thought it was a lovely little story of young people.
I think it's awesome and amazing.
Yeah.
But they don't have computers. So how, like, first of all, can we talk about the fact that 60 Minutes is still on? I used to watch that as I went to sleep with my grandmother. Like, I didn't know 60 Minutes was still on TV.
Well, those people have all died. It's new people. It's just the show is as the same kind of
with the little clock.
Yeah, tick, tick, tick. Yeah.
And that old guy, he was real old. He was old when I was like 4. He was old.
No, all of those people don't. I don't think most of those people are alive anymore. The ones that were on there when we were kids.
Okay.
Like Andy Rooney and stuff.
I was thinking Walter Cronkite. Was he?
I don't know if he was on 60
But yeah, yeah.
No, but I just thought, oh, this is like the polar opposite of the governor of New York. Like here in the real world.
Yeah, but see, and this is the thing.
It's
like
flourishing.
So, yeah, how do you align? Natasha Crane has taught me that truth is what aligns with reality. So one of either they are not in reality or the governor of New York is lying.
Okay. All right. I thought this
yellow pencil and the computers. Shut it. Tanya, you can write a book about these things. Go ahead. Yes, she all the way for it. Okay, let's go. What else you got?
All right. I thought this was kind of cool. I saw this on Free Black Thought. I like that account on Twitter. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. So, this is a guy. He's only 28 years old, and he's purchased something called the Legacy Center.
Oh, there's a Legacy Center I used to work at in Africa.
In Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
He bought it for cash for $3.5 million. And he's going to make it into a community center to teach financial literacy to kids, teens, and adults in the metro Atlanta area.
It'll never succeed.
Okay, so tell me your thoughts. I'm going to play this very short video.
I will tell you why it will never succeed.
Okay, I want to hear. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Auto investments, and I just recently purchased the Legacy Center, and all I'm planning to do is convert this into a nice facility where we'll be teaching kids, teenagers, and adults financial literacy. All right, I'm from Atlanta. I was born and raised on the South Side, so this means a lot to me to acquire this property, and that is why I paid cash for the property, because I know what I want to do and what it really means to my city to have financial literacy taught the right way. All right, so shout out to everybody who has been supporting me. Stay tuned, keep watching my page, and I'll be giving you guys updates on what I'm doing. Tap in the Honey Drip Network if you want to be a part of.
Now Abby be asking, hold on, I got to get rid of this. Abby's asking, what's 60 minutes?
Exactly.
Now we're old.
Yeah.
Abby's 21. It's a news show on regular television. I don't even know if you know how to get to regular television.
I tried to use regular television yesterday and it asked me for credits.
You got to get over. Look how there's dead space over here.
Honey, I will slide myself all the way out. Oh, that reminds me of that song from The Wiz. Slide some oil. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So what are your thoughts about this?
It'll never succeed.
Young guy.
I was saying 10 toes down on the fact that it will never succeed.
But he paid cash. I mean, that sounds like financial
They ain't
literacy.
got computers. How the heck are you going to teach these people financial literacy and they ain't got computers? It'll never work.
It'll never work.
It'll never work.
Why will this not work?
I just told you they ain't got computers. If you ain't got,
well, maybe
surely they don't have calculators. What you gonna be sitting up here counting your dimes and your nickels and all that on your fingers?
No, seriously. What do you think this is a great idea?
I think it's an awesome idea. Honestly, I do. I think that many people, not every person, many people in the hood though have no idea of what it means to actually have a dollar, like to have money. And so what I mean by that is not that people in lower, and this ain't just the hood, this is people in general who live with a poverty mindset, is that they or who come from an impoverished background, having an idea of what it means to have a dollar is different than getting a dollar. It's different than just getting paid. When I have a dollar, I understand what it means to be responsible with that dollar, that dollar needs to go somewhere. Where am I putting that dollar? I am the one in control. My money does not run me. I am literally putting my money somewhere. I had the same same problem. And so it is looking at what I can afford and what I can't afford. It is looking at what does it mean to be able to provide for myself? What do I actually need to provide for myself without any assistance from the government? You might be on the people that they might recruit might be on government assistance while they're taking this financial literacy class. Cool, fine. It is what it is. How do you as a person get a job and begin to save and move yourself away from the government? What I can tell you is that the government don't want you to work. As someone who has spent time working in social service with people on budgets and all of this stuff, it is hard for a person to actually get away from the welfare system, because as soon as you start working and you get just a little bit over that threshold, they're gonna cut your stuff off. They're gonna cut off your cash aid. They're gonna cut off your food stamps. They're gonna cut off all of that. And so there can be this time where people might feel some kind of way about like, well, how do I actually do this? How do I make this really work? But I say yes, like yes to him. Congratulations for going out and buying something in cash and not having that debt, and for being a visionary in your community on, what is needed to help lift ourselves out of poverty, because the government ain't gonna help you get out of poverty.
So I think what I hear you saying is a financial literacy plan in the hood is going to involve some rough conversations with some of the people about getting off government assistance.
Yes.
Because that's true freedom.
I like Tanya's comment. Financial literacy without wisdom and biblical worldview has no foundation. Yes. But I do think that people can apply the principles even if they are not Christian minded. So there's wisdom in the scriptures. I think outside of love, money is the second most common theme in scripture. It's talked about more than anything else. And so how do we understand what the principles are in scripture on how to spend, how to save, how to use my money? Like what does it mean to be responsible with money? I completely agree that it can be fruitless or frugal. Like it doesn't really have the same meaning. But I do think that an atheist can take the principles of scripture and apply them and see benefit to their pocketbook or to their bank account.
I think Tanya's raising a good point is, kind of like, how are we defining financial literacy? That's would be something to
Jahira,
dig
hey,
into.
Mamacita. Is today her birthday? Today is 7th?
Today's the 9th.
9th. Wait, I'm thinking her and CJ. I know your birthday is around this time, so happy birthday. I'm gonna wish you now.
Okay, you ready for the next one?
Financial literacy is the new buzzword. It needs to be, especially in impoverished communities, regardless of skin color. We need to have, especially as the church, we should be teaching people about financial literacy. We should be the people who come in and say, look, this is why you don't need to go into debt. This is why you should be thinking about how you spend your money. And seeing our money and stewarding our money from a place of being God honoring first.
That's good. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. So we talk a lot about critical race theory. I think people think that like our ministry is pretty much just a ministry about race.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's so much more.
Yes, it is.
We talk about all the critical studies, critical theories. Now, I was at a conference a couple of weekends ago, and someone was giving a talk on critical theory.
Yeah.
And during the Q&A time, I raised my hand and asked the speaker, like, hey, are you aware that there's more new critical theories on the horizon?
Mm-hmm.
And have you heard of fat studies?
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't aware of fat studies. And so then I came across this article, and I wanted to just read like one little section to you and then have you comment on it. What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's called No Health, No Care, the Big Fat Loophole in the Hippocratic Oath. This is on a website called pipewrenchmag.com. Okay. So this is written by somebody who is a Black, fat, queer person.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm trying
That's
to
not
get
derogatory. She calls herself
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No,
in
no,
this.
it's fine.
Her
I'm
name's
just
How do I say that?
Marquesla?
Marquesla?
I don't know. We'll just call her Miss Mercedes.
Yeah, her last name's Mercedes. Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit from this article. I'm going to scroll down because she has this whole weird story at the beginning. So this is about medical fat phobia. And medical fat phobia refers to the specific ways that hatred and denigration of fatness manifest within medicine and the fields that medicine influences, like public health. This includes using the appropriate length needle when you get a vaccination, or supporting bariatric surgery for fat kids. All right, so I want to look at. You're already making sighing noises. I haven't even read the part yet.
I'm just trying to listen well,
okay.
and not allow what I think to get ahead of me. So I have to.
All right. When you look at a fat person now, regardless of your own weight, you see a manifestation of obesity, which has a little asterisk in it. I'm not sure why that is.
Because obesity, I guess, is on the same level with the N word or the B word.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't say it.
Or the ape word with an R.
The what?
The ape word.
Oh, yeah.
Because of social process called pathologization, which was conceptualized with respect to fatness by a narrative medicine researcher. Okay. Pathologization reduces.
I don't think you're saying that word.
I don't think I'm saying it right either. An individual down to the qualities or stereotypes of a disease as dictated by dominant medical knowledge. When you see a fat person, you associate them with obesity. What you believe about obesity, you have internalized from health authorities. Its causes, symptoms, consequences, treatment, and more.
That's a lot of assumption right there.
Then guide your interaction with that fat person. You see an affliction to be cured rather than a human being.
That's a lot of assumption.
Fat phobia starts at the top with scientific authorities who set the tone for how we think about health and illness, and it seeps down to shape the lives of every fat person everywhere. And it goes on to talk that fat phobic is interpersonal, institutional, and structural discrimination. And the weight stigma researchers are concerned with how weight stigma relates to individual health behaviors, risks, and events like telling someone they're engaging in poor eating, their exercise habits, their mental illness, and their mortality in support of obesity prevention efforts. And so then it goes on to talk about how Weight Watchers is fat phobia because it's trying to engage in obesity prevention and helping people lose weight. So help us with what is happening here.
Well, I mean, okay, so I'm in two minds about this because I saw that Southwest was starting to give, like, for obese people, I guess morbidly obese or just bigger people, you can get the seat next to you for free. Like normally what you would have to do if you needed more than just like that little extender belt, you needed like the full seat next to you. If you were big, then you would have to pay for that. Like if you were heavy, you had to pay for that second seat. Yeah, you had to buy 2 seats. But now Southwest, I heard, is just like low-key giving that second seat to the person. All I have to do, and I said, pass me that chip. You better what? Somebody, you better give me that Oreo. Cause I'm not a fan of sitting next to people. Now I'm tall. A little over 5'8". So I mean, I'm not the smallest girl, and I got some girth. I'm working on a plan to unbig my back. But in the meantime, if I got Krista on one side and I got Becky, Brenda, or Bob over here on the other side, and I'm in the middle, like I feel some uncomfortableness in my spirit, man, and I might need that. And so this is where part A of me kind of is in conflict with part B, because part B hears or reads this and I say, well, one, you're making a lot of assumptions. You don't know what my thoughts are about fat people. You automatically assume that that's what I'm thinking. that I'm just automatically thinking, well, you need to put the chip down. You may need to put the chip down unless you got a plan like I do to get that free seat on Southwest. Don't judge me. But people can be overweight for a number of reasons. I've been thinking about menopause lately. That's a whole nother, issue, and why people gain weight. But people can have thyroid issues. People can have just a number of different issues that make them, heavy. Now, what we can't separate are the implications of what poor eating, dieting, health and weight management can mean. No. That's because they don't want to live in reality. See, so
but in fat studies,
you can call it what you want. It's a made up study. It's a made up theory, and people are making up all of these definitions and implications that go with those it's in reality what
it's a truth. No, she says this is a systemic institutional,
and she's full of BS.
She says it's proven that weight loss is useless, hopeless endeavor.
Tell that to all the people who's skinny, who lost weight.
To lose weight in any permanent way, and you're opening yourself to risks associated with weight cycling. It's scapegoating among fat people, and it's making the only acceptable way of being is being thin, and that's thin privilege.
Well, honey, I want some of that privilege. I mean, tell that to people who have lost weight and kept it off. Now, I personally don't like to go by the whole BMI and all of that. I think the BMI personally, for the weight that it tells me I need to be at, makes me look like a crackhead. It makes me look like I'm on that pipe. And so I don't go by that. But should I be completely out of my unhealthy? Let me ask, should I be unhealthy?
No, but they would say your definition of unhealthy is incorrect.
Well,
you can be healthy and obese. This is what they're arguing.
I think the proof is in the pudding, and let's see who has the heart attack first. Let's see who's popping the cholesterol pills or the water pills. Let's see who got the diabetes. I'm sorry,
or
but
losing limbs to the diabetes.
I'm not talking about type 1 either. I'm talking about type 2. If you are I watched my grandmother struggle with type 2 diabetes, and then you lose
social justice for fat people. It's CRT. It's the same thing.
It is. It really is. But it's made up.
But get ready for it. This is how your doctors are now being educated. Your nutritionists. If you go to a doctor or nutritionist, maybe who's fresh out of medical school.
My doctor need to go back to school then, because when I walked in, she said, "Honey, how much do you exercise?" And when
that's fat phobia.
She was fat phobia me.
Fat racist.
It is. Okay, Kendi hits on fat racism in his book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. But that whole fat, I wish maybe I need a little fat racism, because but I want that second seat.
People need to just be aware of this. This is on the rise. It's just the same thing. It's critical theory applied to a different issue. And I think
clarification for fat or fat. That's funny. It's a critical theory. So there's always going to be someone who's oppressive and someone who's oppressed. They're going to have to redefine terms and talk about the science as if the science doesn't matter. But truth, again, is what aligns with reality. And so if you want to be big, if you want your back to be big your back and eat that Oreo. Well, honey, that ain't my business. But at the end of the day, I don't want my government, my taxes to have to go to support your diabetical medicines because you chose to big your back instead of going and walking for 30 minutes a day. Because this is where this leads to too. It's who's going to take care of the people who all decided to big their back. Sorry. But that's where it leads.
It's a real issue, and I just want people to be aware of it.
It's a real issue, but I mean, we can't. Here's the thing: we are in a day and age where everybody has to be comfortable, and anything that is uncomfortable is automatically wrong. And so, if I tell someone, "Well, you being 300 pounds is not healthy," there is some. especially, and let me say this, if you're not struggling with a medical condition, if you're just struggling with gluttony and laziness, that is not healthy. Not only is it not healthy for you physically, it's also not healthy for you mentally and spiritually. If we bring in those components and tell people you should be doing something else, like this ain't healthy, forget about what it looks like. You can be body positive and comfortable in your skin and all that, but to tell somebody the truth of like, this is not going to work out for you in the end. We have gotten to a place in our society, in our country, where everything has to lead to my happiness and everything has to lead to my comfort. And you can't tell me nothing hard and all. And you watch where that leads. It's not going to lead anywhere good. It's going to lead to a bunch of people with big backs who think that they okay and they justified in how they live.
So here's another quote from the article. There is no fitness regimen that can keep you from moving when doctors refuse to perform your joint surgery that you need. There's no diet that can keep you alive when your doctor dismisses the constant pain and discomfort you're begging them to acknowledge. There is no quote unquote health conscious behavior that can nullify the harm done by the health authorities. Again, this is what we have to understand is they're saying the system is rigged against fat people who have made fat embodiment into a disease or weight loss into a cure.
But I would argue that where it says there's no fitness regimen that can keep you moving when doctors refuse to perform your joint surgery you might not need the joint surgery if you would have moved before you picked up the Oreo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like walk into the refrigerator and I will preach to myself. Walk into the refrigerator, Monique, is not the form of exercise that you need. And I will be honest, I am currently in this conversation with my own self. So I lost 60 pounds between 2016 and 2017. And I've gained a lot of it back. Why? Because I have re-engaged with some of those poor behaviors I had before I lost a lot of that weight. Now, can I blame it and say, well, y'all should just let me be comfortable? No, I can't. I want to be responsible with my health. I want to be responsible with the body that I've been given. And so I have to have some other conversations, some hard conversations, and recruit some help at this age, especially as life has changed, my body has changed and all that. But what I can't do is now say, well, doctor, you need to perform surgery on me because my joints hurt, when I wasn't doing the things before that would help prevent my joints from hurting anyway.
Yeah. So here's a question related. I don't understand. We can change the color of our skin, but homosexuality, gender, and overeating are all choices. Why are all those things lumped together?
Wait, what? Sorry.
Right here.
I don't understand. What I don't understand is we can't change the color of our skin, but homosexuality, gender, and overeating are all choices. How can we? Oh, I would say it's. I've got to think about this a little bit.
In other words, why are these seen as oppression? Because, like, I can understand why race is an oppression issue because that's something that's inborn.
Yeah.
It's part of who you are.
Yes.
But all of these other things are choices. So why would that be oppression? I'm making this choice.
Because a lot of these things have found their attachment to the civil rights movement. And so specifically for the homosexual and the transgender person, they argue that they were born this way. And so because it is now a civil rights conversation, the same way that I cannot change the color of my skin, the thing that used to be seen in regards to transgenderism, the thing that used to be seen as a mental health disorder is now a civil rights issue and is seen on the same line with the color of my skin. They no longer see it as a choice or as a something that I use my human autonomy to participate in. I was born this way. I have no choice in the matter. So just like I was born Black, I don't have a choice in being Black. That's the same way that a transgender person would not have a choice in participating in their sexuality. And I would assume that in regards to fat studies, it will also go along that line as well, that there will eventually be scientific data that comes out that says fat people cannot help but being fat. And so,
and I think that's where the fat studies people
yeah,
want the conversations to go, is that it is inborn. You can't fight against it.
Yeah.
Some people might even say that there's a system set up in our country to poison our food.
Yeah.
And that's what's making us fat. I don't think that's what the fat studies people are saying.
No.
But that might be a system worth looking at. So, okay. I got one more thing to show you.
Susie, I would need to do a bit more research. What I've seen is people,
first for the podcast.
Sorry, the question is there any science to back up I was born this way?
For fat studies.
I don't know for fat studies. For the transgender conversation, I've seen a few things on both sides. Some that say, you know, that it's scientifically backed up, that there's something in the brain. And then I've seen other things that say that it's not. I haven't seen a lot of that data though. So yeah, I think that's as more and more of this conversation continues to push down the civil rights, you know, conversation, I think more data will eventually pop out. But the question is it true data? What is their sample size? How did they collect this data? Yeah.
Okay, one more. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So this was another viral video that was going around a couple of weeks ago with Richard Dawkins. Now, Richard Dawkins is a very famous British atheist. He's part of the New Atheist movement, which when I was working in science apologetics, how was like one of the major things that we were always interacting about maybe 10, 15 years ago. The New Atheism is little bit on the ropes right now. You know, there's people that I think are starting to see, you know, maybe we were a little bit wrong about Christianity and its impact. So I'm going to play this clip by Richard Dawkins real quick from a couple weeks ago on a British chat show. And I have a lot of questions about how the host is dressed, but okay.
Thank you.
And what would be your Easter message? I mean, I've said a few things. What would you tell the nation?
Well, I must say I was slightly horrified to hear that Ramadan is being promoted instead. I do think that we are culturally a Christian country. I call myself a cultural Christian. I'm not a believer, but there's a distinction between being a believing Christian and being a cultural Christian. And so, you know, I love hymns and Christmas carols, and I sort of feel at home in the Christian ethos. I feel that we are a Christian country in that sense. It's true, statistically, the number of people who actually believe in Christianity is going down, and I'm happy with that. But I would not be happy if, for example, we lost all our cathedrals and our beautiful parish churches. So I count myself a cultural Christian. I think it wouldn't matter if we substituted any alternative religion. That would be truly dreadful.
But which brings...
Okay. I find this so interesting. The host is asking an atheist for an Easter message. That seems a little ironic to me.
What's ironic is that he pretends to give one. He begins to keep going like he's how you a cultural Christian and an atheist?
So I think what he's saying, this is very interesting, is the rise of Islam and the number of Islamic immigrants to Great Britain. For him, and I think, you know, I've heard Calvin Robinson say some similar things, feels like it's eradicating or eroding British culture, and that British culture has deep ties to the Christian faith through Anglicanism. Unfortunately, British Anglicanism is largely just progressive and a mess and not doing what it ought to be doing. But I think what Dawkins' point is that I would rather have cultural Christianity, even though he's been trying to actively convert Christians away from Christianity to atheism for decades. He says, well, now that I kind of sit back and think about it, I would rather have cultural Christianity than cultural Islam.
Because cultural Christianity ain't going around blowing your stuff up, right? I'm just saying. But I mean, I think he hits on something that is an important point, is that what are the distinctions of Islam and what are the distinctions of Christianity that are, if we were taking it from like just a natural perspective, like that will support human flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or what are the distinctives that actually support a country running well?
And I think that I'm seeing on Twitter more and more thought about that question of what is the worldview that leads to more human flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people are wrestling with, does Islam lead to human flourishing,
Mm-hmm.
or does Christianity lead to more human flourishing?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to play one more really quick clip here from Peter Boghossian, who,
I do like him.
He was recently on the Dave Rubin show, and Dave Rubin is a Jewish guy. I don't know how much of a practicing Jew he is. He's a homosexual, but he is sort of quasi-conservative-ish. But Peter Boghossian is an atheist, also very similar to Dawkins, in that he used to have when I was at Reasons to Believe, like big ministry, if you will, of doing what was called street epistemology, of teaching young people how to deconvert from Christianity into atheism.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this was such an interesting comment that he made on Dave Rubin's show last week.
I have been thinking about an unbridled optimism that I used to have when we could bring about a society, or maybe even a civilization, in which religious dogma played much less, if any, of a role in it. And the question is, were those doctrines a prophylactic against people becoming insane, like thinking men can become pregnant, mutilating children's genitals, thinking that there's literally the society is overrun by racists and not the literal Nazis running or goose stepping in and out of Starbucks and stuff. I do think that I was overly optimistic about the consequences, and I certainly did not expect the current fiasco that we see.
I find this highly interesting because you got these two very prominent new atheists basically saying, I underestimated what society would turn into once we remove Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to realize, I would rather live in a world of Christian holidays, Christian values, male-female distinctions, gender, and that sort of a thing. I would rather live in reality, the real world, and human dignity than some of the alternatives.
Well, and I think there are no other alternatives. Like, Christianity brings human dignity, value, and worth. Christianity brings boundaries, because Christianity's boundaries are set by God, who is outside of our morality, outside of our ways of thinking. I think the other, which you have Christianity and then you have the other is this idea that, humans are good and can make their own way. And as long as, as long as people have a society that is bent toward the goodness, they themselves as people will participate in a good way.
Yeah.
And that negates sin.
Yeah.
And when we are left outside of some type of boundary that, is set by a God who is outside of us, and a morality that
a moral giver.
Yes, a moral giver. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Then it's just a free for all, because now I create my own morality, and my morality is different than your morality.
And that's the world that we're living in.
It is.
That's the queer world.
Yes, and you can't tell me that my morality is wrong.
The queering of everything is the complete privatization of morality. And these atheists are acknowledging, wait, that's insanity.
And
and this only confirms what I've been saying all along, is they're borrowing our worldview and they don't know it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm not even sure that it's the privatization of morality. I think queering completely breaks down every person's morality so that nothing is good, but nothing is bad either. I am not, I guess you can consider it like a privatization of morality, but I feel like it to me is just the complete breakdown of all morality.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
go ahead. I wanted to scroll back up to a comment and I'm trying to figure out what, let me see. Can you move that? Thank you. Okay. So I want to go back to the whole weight comment again. If that's okay with you.
Sure.
That one. Yeah.
This one,
Emily G. I think it's Emily.
Epigenetics.
Yeah. So there are some epigenetic studies that environmental, including in utero impact, set points for weight. So possibly some validity to being born that way or a bent toward obesity. Well, we would also say, though, that could be the same for the alcoholic. And that there would be responsibility on that person to participate in a way that is congruent with a life of flourishing. We would say that much like the alcoholic, we must be responsible. And if we are not responsible, then there will be consequences to our actions. And so and I haven't studied this, so I'm not sure, I'm just going to take your word for it. If there are set points for weight that would give people a bend toward obesity, I would encourage them the same way I would encourage the alcoholic to say, well, okay, that couldn't be true. And how do you now live your life in a way that is going to help you flourish? You may need to stay away from the Oreo, boo. You may need to stay away from the Jack Daniels. Like you need to run your life in a way that is going to lead to a long life for you and a life that is not going to create a life of misery, not just for you, but for other people around you.
Yeah. And from what I understand in epigenetics, based on my previous job, that you can change your genetics to some degree. So even if that is your predisposition, you can do things in your lifestyle and behavior. There's a certain level of plasticity to that, but that's kind of an emerging area of,
but I do appreciate
research.
The comment a lot.
Yeah. So anyways, all right, that's it. That's what I had for you today. How'd it go?
It was all right.
It was all right.
It was all right. You started off kind of sketchy with that New York lady, but it's all right. We came around. We brought it back together.
All right, friends. Hopefully we'll be here next week if I can arm wrestle her and get her back.
I'm not here on Thursday.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be traveling.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, if you are in the Pittsburgh area, come out to the Unshaken Conference next Saturday in Pittsburgh.
Yes. And if you are a supporter of the ministry, we would really love it if you would consider buying our shirt. We're doing a little mid-year fundraiser right now. And I'm going to show you the design here. It's only available for sale for a few more days. So if you want to get it, we're trying to send Monique back to South Africa because we've really had enough of her already. No, the needs in there are great of bringing the gospel and the hope of ethnic unity to South Africa. And we want to send her back. So we're having a little fundraiser. So we've got a shirt that's going to get there in time for you for Rainbow Month. And it says God made XXXY, male and female, on the front. And you can go check it out. I will put a link to it in the comments and you can go check it out. And there we go. So anyways, that's about it.
All right. Oh, yes. Thank you, Tanya. And pre-order the book and shirt. Yes, our book is available for pre-order, Walking in Unity. It comes out October 15th through Harvest House. It is available on Amazon for pre-order. Just in your little search bar on Amazon, look up Walking in Unity and one of our names and it will pop up. We are so excited. This book has taken us on a journey. This book gives me like all kind of feelings. I'm like, whoa, here we go. So we are super grateful for our friends at Harvest House and for Natasha Crane and helping orchestrate our relationship with Harvest House. And so, yes, please check it out.
It will be out October 15th.
Yes.
All right, friends, that's it for the family meeting. We'll see you soon. Make sure you got those notifications turned on so you'll see when we go live.